This video covers the general operation and maintenance for your new equipment. Every operator should watch this video before using the machine. Provided with your machine was an operator's manual. If you have not read this document, please pause this video and do so before continuing. This video provides information that is general and not tailored for your specific cleaning application. It does not take into consideration the health and safety risks specific to your application. Due to the many and various cleaning applications, the manufacturer, importer, distributor, or seller of this equipment is not responsible for its performance. So, let's get into it.
Hello, I'm Dave from Alpha Clean, and my goal today is to make your job as easy as possible. What I'd like to run through with you today is our 100BM150. So this is our large ride-on scrubber. It's a metre scrubbing width, and it has 150 litre tanks. That's a 150 litre clean water tank and a 150 litre wastewater tank. So I'd like to go through how to operate and maintain this machine. To start with, we'll go through how to access the batteries. So to get access to your batteries, we need to lift up this main tank assembly. Please note this whole tank here has two tanks in it, our clean water and our dirty water. So if it has any water in it at all, it will be heavy to lift. So both tanks must be empty. We've got our little lever under here to pull in, and then we can lift up our waste tank. So this is a 24 volt machine. What we have in here is 4 6-volt batteries. We generally run a gel battery in these machines. That way they are sealed, maintenance free, so there's no need to top them up, and they can be charged in a confined area. However, please note these machines can also be hooked up with gel batteries. So gel batteries can give you a better runtime, providing they are maintained properly, and that is that they need to be topped up with water regularly and made sure they're looked after, and would have to be charged in a more open environment. Your runtime on this machine is up to 5 hours. This will depend on the batteries and also will depend on the surface you are cleaning. Now, to charge this machine does not have a built-in charger. This machine has a standalone charger which will come with the machine, and it's a matter of unplugging this plug here. So this can be done with the tank down. The tank does not have to be up to remove this lead. But please note this is an Anderson plug, so therefore both these connections are exactly the same. So that when you get your lead on your charger, it can also be plugged into this port as well as this port. But as you'll realise, if it's not plugged into the right port, the batteries will not charge. It has to be plugged in to the leads that connect to the battery. If it's connected into the base port, you'll come back in the morning and your batteries will not be charged. So we simply charge it into the one that's got the red handle on it, plug it into our charger, and that can be charged overnight. Generally, it would need probably a good 10 to 12 hour charge cycle. To fill the machine up with clean water is by putting it straight through in where this red cap is. So this can be removed. Any chemical needed for your application can be put straight in through here, and any water straight into here. So on chemical, what we always recommend is to use a low foaming chemical. Any more advice as far as chemical for your application, don't hesitate to contact us. However, providing it's a low foaming so that we don't get too much foam up in our waste tank. So our clean water's in here, and now if we ever want to empty our clean water, it's simply by emptying it out of this bottom, fitting down the bottom here. So for your waste compartment, we can simply raise this whole lid here. Gives you full access to where our dirty water is going to be collected. We want to always make sure the seal is kept clean and is intact at all times. Because it works on a pressurised system, if this seal leaks or is damaged, it will affect the performance in the pickup of the machine. So we want to make sure that's kept clean. Always good to air the tank out. So this rear hose is what empties our wastewater. So it simply pulls off here We can kink it, we can remove the cap, and then obviously let your water out. When you let your water out, we always recommend then hose out the tank to try and keep it clean. It is all HACCP approved, so the texture, there's no texture inside the tank, it's all smooth, so it shouldn't hold any grime, and you get sort of build up of mold and things like that. It should be easy to clean. We recommend just wash it out each day. The other service item in this machine is our, what we call our suction filter. So this cap can be easily spun around to give you access to it. So we've got the large blue filter here. So what it is, we don't want any moisture to get inside here, which will work its way down into our suction motor. So this should be dry at all times. This will get dirty over time. This needs to be removed, brushed off. If it's not wet or too dirty, you can put it back into position. If not, it can be cleaned under a tap. But this must be always kept dry at all times. Make sure if there's any water inside this compartment, it's cleaned out. So what happens is as your water level comes up, we've got two little sensors inside here. So as the water comes up and touches those two sensors, it'll cut off our suction motor. So that'll reduce the risk of any water getting into our vac motor. But that's where we want to make sure we don't get too much foam, because the foam may not trigger off these sensors and could work its way up into the vac motor. So please note, if a vac motor fails due to moisture, this will not be covered under warranty. So another important thing to maintain on this machine is our squeegee assembly. So this is our squeegee assembly. This is what's going to dry the floor. So I want to go through how to remove it and how we can maintain it. Then we've got our suction hose, which comes up into the machine. So if any blockage for picking up too much material, it could be lint or fluff or dirt or whatever it might be, can easily get caught up into this hose. So this hose can be easily removed, and you can run a hose through it, hose it out, you can see through it easily. And then the squeegee itself can be easily removed. So we've got the two locking arms here, which we can just unwind them, and then that squeegee assembly will just pull off. So you'll notice we've got elongated holes here. That is for a reason. One is easy to pull off, but secondly, if this does get caught on something, it might get caught on a post. There won't damage anything on the machine, it'll just pull off, and then you just have to refit the squeegee assembly. So with the squeegee rubbers here, they come as a set, so you get both rubbers as a set when you order them. Please note we do have a few different types of squeegee rubbers. This is our standard set, which will probably work as a softer rubber. It'll work better, it'll dry your floor a lot better. However, if you're in an environment where it's very rough, or you're dealing with oils and different things like that, we've got what we call an oil resistant squeegee. It's yellow in colour and will last longer in certain applications. So this edge here is what will round off over time. As you'll see, we've got a series of wing nuts here that can be easily removed. We can end for end that squeegee and run on this edge, or we can turn it upside down. So you get plenty of life out of your squeegee, and it's a matter of trying to make sure all this in here keeps clean and we don't get any build up of material inside here. Alright, to remove the brushes on this machine is very simple. To make it a little bit easier, we can remove this guard. That's by removing these two wing nuts here, can be removed. So the guard can be removed, and this gives us more access then to the brush. So it's a matter of turning the brush in like an anti-clockwise connection, and it slides off. So we've got the shape of the spigot there. So this here is the shape of the motor coupling. It's a matter of lining this up, turning it clockwise, twist it, and it locks into position. So as you'll be aware, we have a range of different brushes available. Then we also have the pad holders. So we can put a large range of different pads on these machines. So this is a pad holder. The pad holders, we run a few different types of clips. This here is one type of clip where you just squeeze in the lugs and it pops off. Then the pad can be removed. These pads can be cleaned if needed, and then they can be turned around and then put in the other position. When using pads, we do recommend, also with brushes, recommend pulling them off daily, because you never know, you might get something caught in the pad and this could scratch the floor if you continue to use it to clean with. So to put this back into position, we just position the pad, put the clip on, push it in, and it'll clip into position. Some of our other clips are a twist clip, so you just twist them on and twist them off. So another service part on this machine is the filter for the clean water. So that's situated just underneath here where this little red, yellow sticker is. So we can unwind this filter and it can be removed. Now please note, this will be cleaned out when we service the machine. However, if you notice that you're not getting enough water out of the machine, this may have to be pulled out in between services. We've got a gauze filter here which can be removed, clean out under a tap, refit it, and the thing can be fitted back in. Please note there is an O-ring in there, a seal, so we need to make sure you don't lose that seal, otherwise it will continue to leak water. So now I'll go through the running of the machine. Please note when you get on the machine, we do not want to use this as a foot rest or a step. We do not want to put pressure on our brush deck. We just want to step straight onto the machine like that. So now we'll go through the operation of the machine. Very straightforward. For ease of comfort for the operator, we can adjust the seat. So the seat can be easily adjusted. So depending on where you feel comfortable. So we've got our key switch over here. So we've got a key, ignition switch. We've got our forward and reverse switch over here. So we do only have one foot pedal. The other foot pedal on the left-hand side is our park brake. So this is when you're parking it maybe on an incline, in transport, or if you want a park brake activated while it's in a stationary position. So we simply push the pedal down and pull it back and it'll clip it into position. So the right hand pedal here is our, you might say, accelerator for the machine, for driving the machine. Please note we don't want to have our foot resting on this when we start the machine, because if we do, it may just bring up an error and it won't drive. So you'll have to pull your foot off, turn your key off and turn it back on. That's just a safety feature, so the machine won't automatically drive the minute you turn your key on. So that you've got an accelerator there. We have a forward switch, a reverse, pull it back in reverse to reverse the machine. We've got a speed control knob here that we can adjust the speed control. We also can control the speed on our foot pedal, but this is so that when you're doing large areas, you can have that consistent speed by adjusting it on the control knob here. We also have a horn. So then to operate the machine, we have got a little bit of electronics on this machine. We've got information. So as we control through that, that'll tell us what life we've got in our batteries, how much water you're putting onto the floor in percentage wise. So you can adjust that here by how much water you want down. You can adjust how much pad pressure you're putting on the floor, so you can increase the pad pressure. So depending on the surface you're cleaning, whether you're wanting to strip back a floor, all that. Now all that is going to affect the runtime of your machine. Obviously the more pressure you put down, the less runtime you're going to get on your machine, with your battery time. On the other end of this, we've got an A. Now that's auto. So once the machine is set up, if you push that auto button, it'll automatically put your brush deck down, it'll automatically put your squeegee down, and it'll be all ready for operation. Then as you're operating it, we can then increase the water. So you've got decrease and increase on your water supply, increase and decrease on your pad pressure, so you can adjust that. Once you've finished scrubbing, you can push this A button again, and then it'll bring your brush deck up. The squeegee will stay down for about 20 seconds. It'll count down, and so as you move forward, you'll pick up all your water you've left on the floor, and then it'll come up behind you. It's on a time thing, so you don't have to individually turn off your suction. So we've got two other buttons here. We've got one here for your suction and one here for your brush. So we can override the automatic system, and we can put our brush down and up. So we can run that as two separate uses or two separate modes. So as you can see, the 100BM150 is a very easy machine to operate and maintain. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to contact Alpha Clean.